Hello Pisces friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Pisces Pearls for September 2023 and beyond. This is for you if Pisces is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other placement of Pisces that you listen for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Pisces friend, so birthday is around March 15th through the rest of the sign, or Pisces degree around 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, then I suggest you additionally listen to my Aries report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So we've got a lot to talk about in September. Let's just go through the pearls. First thing that we need to know is that we finally have a more even balance of sweet to salty aspects. Salty is the term that I use for when the planets aren't getting along, and sweet are those harmonious aspects when things just glide and flow together beautifully. So for the previous 2 months, July and August, we had a gross imbalance of salty aspects compared to the sweet ones. So now we're a little bit more even, so that sets the tone for the month of a little more balance. Also, biggest news, really, we're back in eclipse season. We've got eclipses on October 14th and October 28th, but because eclipse season begins at least 4 to 6 weeks before the actual eclipses, we are right in the heat of eclipse season, and you may have already started to see that eclipse news come in even in August. Okay, so we'll talk more about that. We also have Venus going direct. Venus has been retrograde since July, and that retrograde pre-transit shadow period started in June, so a very long transit, and things are starting to regulate. We'll talk about more about what that means. And also we have a split month with Mercury retrograde. So Mercury will go direct in the middle of the month, and that shadow period will last till the end. So you can see we've got a lot of layers to talk about to help you best prepare for the astrological weather, which is what my intention is to help you do. Okay, so let's see where to go with this. So the first thing that I want to talk about, let's do the discussion about the Virgo planets, okay? Because we've got the Sun, we've got Mercury, we've got star goddess Pallas Athena, all moving through the sign of Virgo. When it's the Virgo time of year, it's a time to buckle down, get organized, stop the free flow of summer and really just, or winter for you all down under, and just really get down to what you're supposed to do. This is an amazing time to get new systems together, to clear out stuff and really just get on a new path where you feel like things are more in order. It's a time to get things in order, and it might be a time to deal with tedious details, tedious paperwork or administrative things, just stuff that you might not have had the focus or impetus to do before. Now's the time to get that done, and you'll have plenty of planetary help. Now, specifically for Pisces, when the planets are in Virgo, they crowd your 7th house of relationships. So you'll hear me talk about the topic of relationships a lot during this reading, because we have so many different layers of how relationships are activated at this time. And this is the first layer, okay? So any interactions you have with other people, your business clients, your friends, your family, your relationship to relationship itself, you helping other people helping you paying for a service and finding somebody perfect for what you need, or somebody finding you as being perfect for what they need. All of these interactions will glow and grow this month, and the spotlight of the sun will warm them and bring lots of open possibilities. So if you're looking for help, you're more likely to find it. If you're looking to sell your service or to promote something that you're doing, you have a lot of great energy there. Okay, so the next layer we're going to talk about has to do with Mars moving into Libra, and then of course this Libra eclipse that we have. Okay, so the first eclipse is on October 14th, and that's at 21 degrees of Libra. So both Mars in the sign and then this Libra eclipse through the sign is now enhancing the 7th house again. Okay, so the things we just talked about, the Virgo placements are moving through your 7th house of relationships. So you've got the house of relationships activated, and you've got the sign of relationships activated in multiple ways. Okay, so you can kind of see here, this isn't a time where you're just going to get to be in your silo unless you are pondering your relationships, unless you're clearing out karmic patterns about your relationships. This is a very important time where it's kind of unavoidable that you're going to have to interact with people, but it could bring you great joy and great possibilities. So Mars, wherever Mars is, it brings obsessive focus. So again, this is going to relationship space, okay? So now both the eclipse and Mars are going to highlight your 8th house. So now this is a new dimension of relationships to add. The first layer has to do with just the general relationship to relationship and the people in your life. Scorpio, now the 8th house that's being accentuated by these Libra placements for Pisces, has to do with deeper relationships, ones of, more substance, spiritual, emotional, material, financial agreements and, interactions. And so now we're talking about like you borrowing money, you loaning money, you merging money, where all of these material, but like I said, also spiritual, emotional resources are joining together. Estates, getting loans, making a purchase, making a big sale. All of these energies are showing that your mind is in this space. Now, some of you may have that going on, plus the spiritual side of the Scorpio placement, the psychological side, the mystery side. So this energy of mysteries, of looking deep into the unknown and just trying to dwell in that lesser seen space, more of a space of the unseen or lesser seen. You might have that coming up. So really good possibilities to understand what makes people click, understand what makes you tick, and how you can merge this understanding into greater intimacy and fulfillment. So, that's really what this is all about. The goal of this time is for you to have more enriched relationships, and you will have plenty of possibilities to do that. And in some cases, if there are problems, you'll see those more clearly, and then the resources to do something about them might be more forthcoming. All right, so now the next layer, and by the way, if you want to know more about how 8th house and Libra sign eclipses can manifest for you, because eclipses are a really, really big time. So the end of August, September, October into November, this is eclipse season, and this is very ripe with possibilities. We also have the closing out of the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, which we're going to talk more about the eclipse energies in October when they actually happen. But because they're so relevant and so prominent now, and so many of you are going to have news and insights that are coming in from the eclipses in September, I want to be talking about it so that as it's occurring that you understand what's happening. But if you want to know more about these eclipses, look on my, you can search for these organically or on YouTube, or go to my YouTube homepage and find my eclipse playlist. Okay, so if you go to Annie Botticelli, go to my homepage, go to playlists, scroll down till you find the eclipse playlist, and then look for eclipses in Scorpio or the 8th house, because that's the house it will be in for you. And look for eclipses in Libra or the 7th house, because that's the sign that the eclipse is going to be in. Okay, so you can get good and ready to understand what's happening, because the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle has been happening since the end of 2021, and this is the big wrap up. So you'll want to understand as much as you can about the eclipse cycles and all of this that's happening, because something major is ending, and we're in the second part of the Libra Aries eclipse cycle, which started earlier this year, the spring or fall for you all down under. All right, so lots of shuffling around of my stuff versus our stuff, and your stuff versus shared stuff, and this is going to be a big theme. So the eclipse on October 28th that we will really be feeling and seeing manifestations from in September as well is at 5 degrees of Taurus. So let's talk about a couple of layers here. Taurus is your independent income, your independent self-sufficiency. So, and this is a full moon. That Libra 21 degree eclipse on the 14th was a solar eclipse. This one on the 28th is a lunar eclipse. So it's this energy of, endings and beginnings coming in a very big way. And the Taurus energy has to do with self-sufficiency, and it has to do with material, whether it's material like a garden, you can see it, you can feel it, you can eat it, right? Or material like money. So these topics are going to be very big. And all of this is carrying forth this ending, this big ending, from 2 years worth of storylines. So it's a really big deal. Again, we'll talk about that more next month, but I just wanted to prep you because we're in the heat of eclipse season now, and you will be noticing it. You'll feel things are coming and not know what they are. You may feel anxious. You may have trouble sleeping. You know, it's a very powerful time of active change and karma clearing. This is one of my favorite things about eclipse time, is that things that could have been plaguing you for years, for decades, can just wipe out in an instant as you clear the karma, especially if you get the lesson. So the more you understand about the eclipse cycle, the more you can get this sorted out. So in my eclipse playlist, you can also look for eclipses in Taurus, okay, to understand more about that. Okay, so now let's talk about Venus retrograde. I'm not going to talk a ton about this because I have in the July and August reports, I also have a ton of Venus retrograde information. So you can just search for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde and you'll find tons of blogs and videos. But Venus rules love and beauty and money and finances and relationships and design and, you know, beauty and so many things. And it's been retrograde, you know, since July, around the 22nd, 23rd. But the pre-shadow transit started June 19th. Now here, early September, it's September 3rd, Venus is going direct. So it's going to take until like October 7th or so before it regains its full strength. But these storylines that you've had of money topics coming back from the past, love topics coming back from the past. Many people will have had something come due to them. Maybe you've had a bunch of money that was owed to you, or someone was in debt to you and they pay up at this time. Are there signs that they're going to pay up? You know, or if you have been in debt and avoiding that topic, they could come due where you have to deal with it. So, and the same thing with relationships. If things are imbalanced in your relationships, it will show up and you'll have to make decisions about that. But the time to make decisions, you're going to have a much easier time having clarity about the big choices you have to make more towards the end of September into the beginning of October, because you're still getting new information, and then the eclipses will probably bring in a new set. Okay, so just to kind of know that all of that's going on. And Mercury was retrograde. It's going direct September 14th. Changes to plans, not being able to see that far ahead of you, you know, not being able to have clarity about what you want to do or what you can do, and just like erasing things in your planner all month pretty much, you know, that's going to start to shift. So I always liken Mercury going direct to and retrograde to basically you're cruising along, then you have to slow down for a U-turn. So then you go through that shadow period where it's uncomfortable, you got to get over, you slow down while the traffic is whizzing by you. Then the retrograde is you like sitting in the median with traffic whizzing by on both sides of you, and you can't really get anywhere or do anything, okay? Because that's what it kind of feels like. And then when it goes direct, now you've gotten back in traffic and you have to get back up to speed with the rest of traffic. And so that's the shadow period. So that second half of September will be you getting back up to speed, and you will notice that things will start to move along at that time, and it will be a very powerful time of change. Okay, so let's see what else I wanted to talk about. Okay, so let's talk about the new moon. We talked about the moons for October because they're so powerful that they're pre-echoing into September, but the actual important moons for September. So the new moon on September 14th is at 21 degrees of Virgo, and so everyone will feel those potentials, and again, that is in your relationship house along with the other Virgo placements we talked about from the beginning. And you all will be feeling that and feeling the potentials of, you know, new beginnings with your health, new beginnings with pets and animals, new beginnings with your work or career, things going on. Virgo doesn't relate directly to your career, but it relates to the day-to-day things that you do with your work. So those kind of opportunities, your day-to-day experience, whether you go to yoga every day, then go to work, or whether you're home and you have a schedule, you know, whatever it is you do every day, there's something new, and new opportunities to build new routines are going to come. And all of you will be feeling that, but the closer you are to 16 degrees through 26 degrees and the closer to 21 degrees, the more you will have impact from that moon. So that's going to relate to like March 6th through around March 16th, and the closer to around March 11th, the more you get the direct connection with that. that new moon. And then the full moon is on September 29th at 6 degrees of Aries. So fullness, completion, fruition, drama coming up about your individual body, your health, recognition, something like that. So overall, this is, a really busy month, and it's a really exciting month full of a massive amount of change. If you want to learn astrology, if you've been looking for a place to ask all those burning astrology questions that have been stopping you in your studies, then you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course. Even if you don't want to do it professionally, you have access to a forum to ask questions and to learn, and the material is very comprehensive. So you can see that at beastropro.com, beastropro.com. You can sign up for my free email newsletter, and you can get education, astrology education, and links to relevant things that are happening throughout the month so that you can make the most of the starry possibilities. And you can also see my written horoscopes and all of that at anniehelpsyou.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.